Hola! I'm the sailing gardener and I'm currently here in Suva in Fiji. In this episode, I unexpectedly returned to New Zealand. And on arriving in Aotearoa, I admire the spring blossoms and the beautiful blooms on the magnolia trees. On arriving back in Suva, I get on with growing some mung beans and I go to the fresh fruit market to stock up on some papaya. But first things first, I have to catch a plane in Nandi. It was an early start in Suva, and with bags packed, we headed off to catch the taxi to Nandi, and the trip took around 4 hours with a quick stop in the middle. The trip took us past a variety of resorts, islands and vegetation. And here we are at Nandi Airport to catch our flight back to New Zealand. Very sad news took us back to New Zealand. My little sister lost her husband in a car accident. It was a shock to us all, and we gathered together to support her and each other at this very difficult time. As I drove the streets in Waihi, where I used to live, I took roads where I knew blossoms would be on display. What a beautiful sight. The frothy pink flowers en masse always wow me. Beautiful spring in New Zealand. I paused at Gilmore Lake on one occasion and enjoyed seeing the pigeons and the fountain flowing. It's such a beautiful spot here at Gilmore Lake. I don't know if people realise how lovely it is, that fountain, so pretty. I wanted to see the magnolias I knew would be in bloom. And they were. The deep crimson petals glowed on the branches, and their soft leathery petals littered the grass below. The petals always remind me of Thumbelina's boat in an old fairy story I used to read. They're so thick and strong, but so incredibly beautiful. So pretty. Our 2 weeks in New Zealand went quickly, and before we knew it, it was time to fly back to Nandi and to our boat. We journeyed back up to Auckland to catch the plane. It was another early start back to Fiji this time. A good old McDonald's breakfast got us going for the day. And then we flew back to Nandi. We arrived back to pleasant temperatures and overcast skies, and these amazing welcoming singers. Driving back to Suva, I noticed fields of sugarcane on the sides of the road. It looks like tall wild grass growing in clumps, and Fiji is well known for its sugar. I got to see it firsthand growing as we travelled along the road. The overcast skies eventually brought rain on our trip back to Suva, but when we arrived it was beautiful and breezy and warm again. Back to the tropics and back to boat life. The cabin boy did not notice that my mint plant needed a drink. It's a bit sad, but I'm sure a good watering will fix it. The next day I attended to my mint plant that was looking far perkier and happier for the lovely drink of water that I gave it yesterday on arriving back. We needed to stock up on fresh fruit and veg, so a trip to the market was in order. I like to grow mung beans while on board, and it's time to start a fresh batch. I pour some into the jar and then fill it with water and let the little mung beans soak probably overnight. I cover it with a bit of Chuck's cloth just to keep little flying insects out. And there you go, we wait for the soaking to happen. So I'm checking on my mung beans. I can see little shoots have just started, and I'm going to give them another soak. I usually give mung beans 2 soaks each day while I'm growing them in the jar, and I actually start eating them pretty much from this stage they are at now. They probably just need a little bit more of white shoots to be coming out, and they're really crunchy and delicious. So I'm just draining the water off, and I'll do this again later today and give them another rinse. I just give them a shake to even them out on the bottom, and there they go. And I like to put them on top of my dinner. The boys don't like them, so I get them all to myself. Delicious. I've got some coriander here. I think I'm going to be here in Fiji for a bit longer, so I thought I'd grow another plant. It looks a little bit sad today, but there is the telltale sign of life. So maybe I'll get a coriander plant before I leave Fiji. Well, that brings me to the end of this episode. I've got a lovely big papaya that I got from the market that I'm going to enjoy later today. So until next time, goodbye.